Okay. I'm so thankful that I'm able to be in your class. It's a blessing and honor to be able to be your sensei today. I know that this is the first time you've been face-to-face this semester. And so this is a great honor to see you. Obari Sensei and I just had lunch, and he said this is his first time to see you face-to-face. He had been in Zoom. And because of that, I believe that he showed you one of the lectures I had done in Meiji University a couple of weeks ago. Today I'm going to review some of those topics. I will review some of that content, and then I will also introduce to you some new content as well. You may be asking, why am I here? Why have I come to Japan? And Scott Sensei, Obari Sensei just mentioned, my daughter Hannah Grace is an actress here in Japan. She's a voice actress and a TV actress. She sings, and this picture here is her when she sings at the Attack on Titan anime. She sings the very last song, I believe it's called Memory Lane. She is the one who sings that song. She's also been, as he mentioned, on Hanako Ta'an, the Asadora drama, and she was Scott Sensei in the Asadora drama. And so if you had a chance to see Hanako Ta'an, then possibly you have seen our daughter. We live with her when we are in Tokyo, and so we have a great privilege, but also to come and to lecture at Obari Sensei's classes here in Waseda, at Meiji, at Tokyo Tech, and other locations as well. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of leadership. Now, on past Sunday was Father's Day. I have 3 pictures of people that were in my life were fathers to me. The first one is my father. This is my father. This is me with the little bow tie. That is my father. And I learned from my father to work hard. I learned from my father to be responsible. I learned from my father to tell the truth and to be a good person when I was a young boy. But the other person's picture in there is something that relates to you. This man is he is a lawyer. His name was Judge James F. Gordon. He was a lawyer and a judge. He was a judge in the United States. He was friends with the president. He knew many of the governors of our country. And in 1975, he was the Kentucky Man of the Year. I am from Kentucky. Kentucky Fried Chicken. You've heard of Kentucky Fried Chicken? That's where I am from. Well, he was from Kentucky, and he was a lawyer. He went to law school, the Faculty of Law in Kentucky. I learned from him the importance of the truth. I learned the importance to obey the law. Learned the importance of the court system and understanding how our country and how a nation works. And every country has to have laws, and every country has to have rules. But most importantly, I learned from that man in the black robe, Judge Gordon, about a vision and a purpose. See, a leader, the most important word that we will discuss in leadership is the word influence. And you always influence toward a purpose or a vision. And what I learned from the judge was that he said, Thomas, I want you to go to college. I was not going to go to college. I was going to be a farmer. I was going to drive a tractor. I was going to take care of cows. And he said, no, you have a vision. You have a purpose, and you need to go to college. And that is what a leader does. See, a leader always influences you toward a purpose. And so I want to ask you just for 1 minute to think, these are my leaders. Who is your leader? Who has been the person that has influenced your life? Don't discuss it, but just think a second and write their name on a piece of paper. It may be your parents, It may be a friend. It may be a coach. It may be a sensei or a teacher. But who has influenced your life? Take 1 minute and think. Parent, friend, teacher, and then I will find out. One minute. Write their name, or write their on your piece of paper. Okay. Now, I'm going to lecture today more in an American style of lecturing. And so I will ask you questions, and I want you to give answers. I want you to participate. And so we will be having interaction today as well. And so I want to find out how many of you said that your leader was your parents. Hold up your hand. If your leader, most important person was, your leader was your parents, mother or father, okay? Good. Okay, of those, how many father? Father? Okay, how many mother? Okay, excellent. Yes, my mother and my father, again, were very, very influential in my life. They helped me to understand how to be a good person and how to learn and how to grow. How many of you said a teacher was your leader? Ah, teacher, hi. Okay, wonderful. Many senseis. High school or high school teacher? Junior high teacher? How many high school? Okay, high school teacher. How many junior high? Okay, junior high teacher. Good. Okay. How many coach was or maybe a coach in an athletic sport? Okay, anyone? Maybe a friend? Okay, a friend. All right. Excellent. Sometimes a grandparent. But see, each of those people have influenced you. Each of those people have helped you, a parent or a friend or a sensei. They have been the person that has helped you to be effective and to help you to be a better leader. I want to give you definitions of leadership. I've already mentioned the most important word is the word influence. It is the word influence. See, leadership is the ability of a person to influence another person. It's the ability to influence another person. One of my textbooks I use in America says leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of people to achieve a common goal. Again, it's always you always influence to a purpose. You always influence toward a vision or influence toward a goal in life. My definition of a leader is that accepting a calling upon your life as you live a life of personal character, influencing others toward a worthy goal. See, it is basically someone influences you to go to a goal, but in my definition, I talk about the character. I talk about who you are. See, because we are influenced by three kinds of relationships. There are three relationships of every leader. Three relationships of every leader. And I will put those on the board a second. I will draw a diagram very quickly. If this is the leader, the first relationship are others. It's other people that you are influencing toward the purpose. So first is others. Secondly, it's the leadership and self. You have to be a leader who leads themselves. Now, today we're going to talk about in servant leadership, and we're going to talk about in global leadership, very important aspects of leading yourself and how you do that, how you can be a better servant or how you can be a better global leader. But the other relationship is your mentor. It is your leader. It is the person that influences your life. On the PowerPoint, you can see it there. Leader in others, a leader in self, and a leader and your mentor. A mentor is not a supervisor necessarily, but it is a person that you look to and you say, will you lead me? And then they also help you. They impact your life, like your parents, or like a teacher, or like a coach. But they're often a person that's a little bit older than you are, and loves you, and is committed to you, and wants to help you to be more effective as a leader. I discussed that some. Now my mentor, my most important mentor is my relationship with God. That knowing God personally, or having a personal relationship with God, is the most important aspect of me having a mentor. But even if you do not believe in God, you still need to have a mentor. You still need to have someone in your life that is helping you through that. And this diagram, again, on the screen, just helps you to see the things I just talked about. A leader in others, a leader in self, a leader in your mentor to help you in life. Those are the three relationships of every leader. Yourself, others, and your mentor. Now the next thing I want to talk about, but what does a leader do? What does a leader do? Well, I want to propose to you that a leader helps something that is dead come to life. That a leader takes what is dead and gives it life. Let me explain. During the pandemic, my phone died, and it was completely dead. It would not charge. It did not have pictures. It was not. I could not open it, and I had many pictures, and I have all my information on this phone. I took it to a technician, to an iPhone repairman, and I said, "My phone is dead. Can you fix it?" And he said, "Your phone is dead. Throw it away and buy a new phone." And I said, "No, I need the pictures. I want the data. I want what is on the phone." So I took it to another repairman, and I gave it to him. He said, "Your phone is dead. I can fix it, but you will lose all of your information." And I said, "No." So I called a friend, and I said, "Who is the best iPhone leader in my town?" And he told me the person's name. I went to his store, and I gave him my phone. And I said, "My phone is dead. Can you fix it? Can you bring it back to life?" And he said, "Yes, your phone is dead, but I can fix it. I can make it alive." I gave it to him. I paid him 10,000 yen. He gave me my phone back, and it was working, and it works fine. He took what was dead, and he made it alive. He gave it life. And that is what a leader does. So let me explain to you what LIFE means. First, a leader leads by example. A leader leads by example. If you want a person to be your leader, you want someone who says, "Yes, follow me. I am going there, and I will be your example." And so they lead by example. Number two, they inspire toward a vision or a purpose. They inspire you to a vision and purpose. Remember, always, leadership is influence. And you influence to a purpose or a vision. So they give you a purpose. They give you a vision. They give you a goal. My lawyer friend, Judge Gordon, he gave me a vision. He said, "Thomas, you can go to college. Thomas, you are smart enough to go to college." And he inspired me to go to college. He gave me life. And actually, He gave me life in many ways. Number 3, a leader takes you from fear to faith. From fear to faith, trust, hope, and courage. We live in a world that's very, very fearful. We live in a world that's very, very, coronavirus has scared all of us. So we're always wearing our masks. We're washing our hands. We're thinking, oh no, we're afraid. We're afraid to touch. We're afraid to talk. We're afraid to show our face. Even though the government says, the Japanese government says, when you walk outside, you can take off your mask. What do most Japanese people do? Leave their mask on. Why? I don't know. But sometimes we are so afraid we do not act in certain ways. Some of us are afraid of failure. We are afraid of not being successful. We are afraid of disappointing our parents, or disappointing our friends, or disappointing our sensei. We are afraid of so many things. One leader said, perfect love casts out fear. Perfect love throws fear away, because fear involves punishment. But you have been loved perfectly. My leader leads me, and I am not afraid because of my leader, because of how he loves me. See, a leader takes you from fear to faith. And it wants to help you to say, yes, you can do this. You do not have to be afraid. In coronavirus, Japan, America, other countries had doctors who said, I can give you a vaccine. Or if you wear your mask, you do not have to be afraid. And they tried to remove some of our fear. And that's what a good leader does. Takes you from fear to faith in life. So 3 things so far. Lead by example. Inspire toward a vision. Take you from fear to faith. And then they encourage your heart. They say, you can do this. You can make it. You can go to school. You can be a lawyer. And you can be excited. You will be okay. And they say, okay, if you think I can do it, I will do it. And they encourage you. And they help you. See, a leader gives you life. Now, I have a question for you. I want you to discuss, to get so maybe groups of 3 or 2 or 3, and which letter of L-I-F-E is most important to you and why. So again, they are to lead by example, inspire toward a vision, from fear to faith, or to encourage your heart. Which one of those letters is the most important to you? Think a minute, and then tell your friend. At least one person, if you're sitting by 3, you can turn in your groups of 3, and you can discuss. Okay? Discuss amongst yourselves for 2 or 3 minutes which one is the most important to you and why.
Yeah, speak in English, please. Yeah. Okay. We will look at page 4. You can discuss with your partner. Okay. 3 or 2 will be okay. Yeah. Yeah. Discuss leadership decline.
Is inspired because, for example, my high school class teacher encouraged me to study hard many things. So I
Inspire toward the vision. Okay. Okay.
teacher make me
To encourage your heart. Encourage your heart.
the teacher make me good.
Which one for you?
Sorry.
from fear to faith.
The teacher, no, if I have never met the teacher, I could not enter this university. So I think that's why I told him.
Which one do you think is most important? L, to lead by example. Good. How about you? F, from fear to faith. That's what they said. Well, you're the first one to say to lead by example. So, to inspire toward a vision. So you had each had a different one. Which one for you? To lead. Okay. How about you, sir? Inspired toward vision. Inspired toward vision. That's very good. Excellent. How about you? Which one for you? Which one for you? Lead by example.
You can make it.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. How about you?
I'm going to
Have a discussion, okay? Don't be quiet.
And so that person can help you to inspire you to do all this. Wonderful. How about you? Which one?
Thank you for listening.
Is that toward a vision for you? The same one? I'm sorry, which one? From fear to faith. From fear to faith. Okay. How about you? You're inspired to vision. Why did you say inspired to vision?
You know, once you make some statement, you have to always support that with reason. So English logic is a why because, okay? Always, you have to find out the reason to support your statement.
Okay.
To accomplish it. Why did you say from fear to faith? That is very good. Especially if you're alone, sometimes it's, but you have a person to say you can do it. That is excellent. Okay, which one for you?
I think
all of you agree. Why would
Maybe you can write down your favorite characteristics. What do you think is the most important? Lead by example?
Yeah, that those two help you do. If you have a vision and you have an example, it takes away your fear.
Life. Acronym is a life. Life stands for what?
I am likely to inspire by others. So maybe my friends
Yes. That's very good. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
likely to inspire by others.
Well, let's discuss that a second. I've asked each of you what you think, which is the one that you need or you think is the best. How many of you said to lead by example? How many said to lead by example? Let me see your hand. Okay. You may be the only one. Can you explain why then? Since that's very good. Why is that important to you?
When I was a high school student, my English teacher showed me the importance of keeping learning of English. So I saw the mind of his mind. I saw his mind. I have to learn or keep studying English after into the college. So I chose read by example.
That is good. Excellent. Your English teacher encouraged you, gave you that example, and said, do not give up. So that's excellent. Very good.
You had encountered a very good mentor, no?
Yes. That's a very good mentor. Excellent. How many said inspire toward a vision? Let me see your hand. Okay, many of you said inspire toward a vision. Can someone tell me why? Why did you say, anyone, why did you say inspire toward a vision? Be brave and speak up. Anyone? Yeah, yes, please.
I think show me the vision of purpose. I can realize what how efforts I will do, and I can realize accomplish goals.
Okay, yes, and so the leader helps you to realize how much effort it will take and what it will take you to reach those goals, and they say you can do these things and you will be able to do that. So excellent. And many often inspire toward a vision and encourage your heart. They can go together sometimes, but the focus here is the purpose, and this is encouragement. How many said from fear to faith? Let me see your hand. Yes. Your group, all of your group said from fear to faith, and someone on your group say why. Yeah, would you speak again?
L and I is the way to achieve that, and also I personally believe that like a person has a natural ability to do something, achieve something, and the fear to fail or fear to get attacked by someone else is stopping them to do this.
Okay. I know y'all could not hear what he said, but he said that L and I are a way to achieve F, and that everyone has a desire to do something, but their fear of failure may keep them. And so you have to be saying, okay, this is my purpose, this is my goal, I'm afraid of failing, I'm afraid of not being successful, and so I need someone to say, hey, you can do this. You do not have to be afraid. And that's what you said, even when a person is, if you are alone, that leader will help you, because all of us, every person, the best leader, it can be afraid. Fear is normal. That's just a normal emotion to have. But a leader says you do not have to be afraid. You can overcome your fear. Here is courage. Here is hope. Here is faith. You can do this. And they take you from fear and they take you to faith. Good. And anybody else say encourage your heart? Let me see. How many people said encourage your heart? It's interesting. You know, if you do these first three, this one happens, doesn't it? And see, that's what a leader does. A leader gives you life. A leader says, you can do this. A leader says, you do not have to be afraid, and it helps you overcome. Not just your accomplishments, not just your tasks, or not just your efforts, but even in your heart. Sometimes our heart can be afraid. And my leader, my relationship with God, helps me overcome fear, because perfect love casts out fear. And I do not have to be afraid because of that. The leader goes from death to life. Now next we're going to talk about global leadership. Global leadership. And we're going to discuss some of the characteristics of being a global leader, or a leader with cultural intelligence. We're going to do this very quickly. It was part of your slides earlier. Quick review is, what is CQ? What are the 4 capabilities of CQ? And how does your worldview influence CQ? Okay, CQ is another type of intelligence, much like IQ. IQ is your brain, your intelligence. EQ is your emotional quotient, or your emotional intelligence. CQ is your ability to understand cultures. Your ability to understand different cultures. Now, if you saw watched the video, you may have seen this picture, but let me show it again. Where am I located? Which city am I located in these pictures? Okay, look at the slides or the pictures. Which city am I on an escalator in this picture? Which city? Give me a city in Japan. Tokyo, yes, because you stand here and then you walk up this side, right? Tokyo, Kyoto, Nagoya, Kobe. I think most of those cities are like this. Which city am I over here? Which city am I in? Osaka, yes. I was in Osaka 2 weeks ago, and I got in trouble because I was on the wrong side of the escalator. I was on this side going up the escalator from the Shinkansen, and all of a sudden a person pushed me, and I was standing, and he said, get out of it, and it was making me move because I was not in the right spot. Because in Osaka, you stand here and then you go up this side. That is cultural intelligence. Even in Japan, you have to be culturally intelligent. If you go to Osaka, or if you go to Kyoto, or if you go to Tokyo, it's a different belief, it's a different culture. See, culture is the beliefs, the values, the customs, the attitudes that make one group unique, or at least makes it different. The beliefs, values, attitudes, customs that make one belief group different or distinguishes it from another. Do you realize that 70% of international ventures fail because of the lack of CQ? That they do not understand the cultural differences. And if you do not understand the cultural differences, then when you go to work in another country, you may not understand the business, you may not understand the beliefs, and that may keep you from being effective as a leader. So having CQ is very, very important. There are 4 things. Again, I shared these in the video. 4 things, 4 capabilities of every CQ leader. They need CQ drive, which is their motivation. They need CQ knowledge, which is understanding the culture. So first you have to want to be a CQ leader. Why do you want to study in another country? Why do you want to go to another location? What is your reason? My daughter, when she came to Japan, had very strong CQ drive. She wanted to be an actress in Japan. And because she wanted to be an actress in Japan and had such drive, she was successful. CQ knowledge is learning about the differences in cultures. It's learning is, oh, what is it different to be in Japan or America, or Japan versus China, or America or Africa? What is it different? So it's CQ knowledge. Then CQ strategy is making that knowledge make sense. It's understanding it. And then number 4 is CQ action, or CQ behavior. It's actually acting differently. Example, I go to Osaka. I want to be effective, so I have drive. My motivation is, then I realize I need to have knowledge. Oh, I need to know the difference on where to be on the escalator. And then I need to apply it, and then I need to get on the escalator properly. And that's a very simple example of having CQ and CQ knowledge of those things. So a leader in self has CQ drive, knowledge, strategy, and also CQ action. So the question for you, and I believe the most important thing, is your motivation. Why do you want to do those things? Why do you want to be a CQ leader? What is your purpose? And when I ask your question, what is your purpose? Not just what is your purpose in being a CQ leader or global leader, but what is your purpose in life? When I teach in America, the very first assignment that I give all of my students is they have to write my purpose in life is. And they have to write 1 paragraph, 200 words, 100 words about my purpose in life. Why am I here? Let me read to you what one student said to me. He said, my purpose in life is that if there is no real purpose for me. Like all animals, we just live and then we die before we pass on our knowledge. You ask me, what is my purpose? Maybe simply because. People are there in life just because. In my own time, maybe I will learn what my purpose is, but until then, it is just because. This person did not have purpose. This student of mine did not understand the significance of life and why they were here. Were they just here to get a job? Were they just here, or are they just here to make money? See, when I went to college, I thought if I have an education, and I have money, and I have things, then I will be happy. Money, education, things bring happiness. And it did not bring happiness to me. My heart was still hurt. My heart still had a hole. I was still empty inside. Think about this. How many movie stars have all the money in the world, or have everything they can imagine with a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband, or cars and Ferraris, and then they commit suicide. Why? Because they have a hole in their heart. Pascal, the great philosopher, said, there is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every person, and it can never be filled with any created thing. It can only be filled by God. See, I had a hole in my heart that I needed to be filled, and things and money and education did not fill that. I needed something different. I needed a relationship with God to help me understand how that would be filled. My purpose in life is, do you know your purpose? If I was to ask you my purpose in life, what would you say? Well, college is a wonderful time for you to think about that. For you to think about what is your purpose. Rick Warren has written a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And he tells us that knowing your purpose does 5 things for you. Knowing your purpose gives you meaning. Knowing your purpose simplifies your life. Knowing your purpose focuses your life. Knowing your purpose gives you motivation. And knowing your purpose prepares you for eternity. And so many students, especially first-year students, have never thought about my purpose in life is. But now is a very good time for you to think, what is my purpose? Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference, that you have lived and that you have lived well. He understands the purpose isn't about things. The purpose isn't about money. The purpose isn't even about education. The purpose is to live a life that impacts another person and to have God fill the hole in your heart. So that's CQ Drive. Second thing is CQ Knowledge. It's learning and understanding different cultures. What's the difference in Osaka versus Kyoto? What's the difference in Japan or America? Is understanding the different values and the different worldviews. And a worldview is basically a lens. Every person has a worldview. And they have a worldview on these 5 things. They have a worldview about God. Is there a God? Are we alone? So everybody think, 84% of the world thinks about God, has some view of God. 84%. 31% are Christian. 23% are Muslim. 15% are Hindu. 8% are Buddhist. 2% are Shinto. Then there's another 16% that are different things, but only 16% are atheists, meaning that there is no God. So everybody has a belief about God. Everyone has a belief about reality, what is real. And because of the internet and artificial intelligence, sometimes we do not even know if it's real or not. But we need to, what is reality? Number 3, everybody has a view of knowledge. Everyone has a view about morality. And everyone and every culture has a view about humanity. See, your worldview is like wearing glasses. And when I put these glasses on, everything changes. Now I see through Tom Cruise's glasses, through Maverick's glasses. Okay, now I have different glasses on, and I see things differently. When I put these glasses on, it changes. And that's what a worldview is. A worldview is, what glasses are you looking through? In Japan, you look through Japanese lenses. You look through a Japanese, that is your worldview. In America, I look through an American worldview. But if you want to be a global leader, you have to change glasses. And you have to think, oh, how does a Japanese act? Or how does an American act? Or how is Chinese different? Or how is being from Africa different? And you change glasses, and it's having that ability to think differently about your worldview. So because of that, what I want you to ask you is, I want you to discuss in your groups again, what are some cultural differences between that you've noticed between Americans and Japanese? What are differences that you know between American culture and the Japanese culture? So talk in your groups again. What are some things that you know that are different between the American culture and the Japanese culture?
For example, I think let me explain what the worldview is all about. Worldview is all about your belief. What kind of religious, religion you practice? Or whether do you believe in the evolution? Right? Many Japanese people only believe in evolution. But if you go to Oxford or some very famous universities, they do believe in the creation. In the beginning, God has created the heaven and earth. That's also part of the worldviews.
Yes.
And also how you want to define the time, right? Just past, present, and the future, and life after this. Right? That's part of it. Also, if you go through your rituals, more or less, I would say that those rituals do reflect your worldviews. Worldview has a lot to do with that. Okay, your personal belief, also who has created the heaven and earth, universe, right? Also evolution versus creation, even life after this, whatever. Okay, yeah, you can have a discussion.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it later more in detail. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. So what are some differences you have seen? And even as you think about these 5 things, God, reality, knowledge, morality, and humanity, that might help you to think, how is America and Japan different? What are some differences?
And for example, how you pass the judgment? Judgment means what is wrong and what is good. Usually, people just look at the situation. If there are 10 people, 9 out of 10 say this is right. You go for that. But in the United States or in some certain country, they do obey the law. Right? Not the humans. Muslim, Islam, they believe in the Quran. Rather than just depend on, they are not depending upon the situation like us. Japanese tend to pass the judgment based upon our situation or ethics. We don't have an absolute okay,
Only one. ああ、平均値。平均温度です。差別ってからですね。
Yes. Some particular religions in Japan. You have been to shrine before?
You go to a shrine or
you bow there and see. That's what you are. You have been to shrine. That's your part of the world. Yeah. Do you believe in evolution or creation? Evolution. Speak in English, please. No Japanese again. Yeah, as long as you speak English, that's fine. What? Yeah, one or I will bring some of the people who believe in evolution or creation. We have to have But your opinion is still the description. Hi, speak in English, please. No Japanese. Come on. What is your word? How are you going to pass the judgment? Good or bad? Good or bad? Right or wrong? Do you like a Japanese?
I like American.
You're a nice guy.
I'm not Japanese.
Okay. Feel free to express anything.
Differences that you had to express.
Any This is my idea.
Yes, yes, okay.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
I'm not Japanese people.
But is there a God? Are there millions of gods in Japan? Yes. Which one do you believe in?
The appearances are different. Other countries may not be as concerned about their appearances as much.
Do you do some ancestor worship?
Mind their appearance. Yes.
Ancestor worship.
Yes, that's one thing I know this time.
Yeah,
Japanese young girls and like very their appearance is always.
What about Christmas?
And sometimes the hair swap. Wear old clothes or dirty clothes, but it's easier to do. There's one big difference. That personal values was
Speaking English,
very good, very good.
Celebration.
Sure.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's a commercial.
You know, I didn't get a chance to go to each of your groups, but you realize the cultures are different, especially between America and Japan or other countries. Those 5 things are very important. When I came to Japan, I learned some things about Shintoism, because that's the religion of Japan, Shintoism and Buddhism. If you were going to travel to America, you would need to study more about Christianity. If you were going to go to Saudi Arabia, you could learn more about the Islam. Or if you're going to go to India, you might want to study about Hinduism. But everybody, almost everyone, thinks about God. 84% of the world has a thought about that. And that, again, I want you to understand your sensei's perspective, that God is personal and God can be known. And that is kind of a Christian worldview, that He loves me so much that He had His Son, Jesus, die on the cross for me. Now, you do not have to believe that. That's okay. But you need to understand that's what a Christian worldview is, and maybe different than a Shinto worldview or a Buddhist worldview. But it's important for you to learn, especially while you're in college, different worldviews, and study and have conversations. If you would like to email me and us discuss this anymore, I would love to do so. I actually have a gift for you as well, not for everyone, but is anyone's birthday in the month of June? Anybody have a birthday in the month of June? Anybody was born in June? You were? Okay. You the only one? Okay. Well, I have a book, and it's called Where is God in the Coronavirus? I also have it in Japanese. And there's a chapter, or there's a section in this book that talks about the coronavirus and how different worldviews view evil or view the coronavirus. How theism, which is part of Christianity, or atheism, or agnosticism, how they view those things. So I will give you your choice. You can have this book in English, or you can have it in Japanese. Which one do you want, since it's your birthday?
But I tell you what, You have to do some reading and then give us a report, okay?
Yeah.
English one, you have to give a report in English, okay? And only not so long, only 2 minutes. You know,
Yeah,
what
just-
this book is all about.
Yeah, just summarize.
And then you have to report in Japanese, okay?
Maybe he'll give it to you as extra credit, I don't know. Which one would you like to do prefer? This one, okay. All right. We use this with professors in America. John Lennox is from Oxford, where your sensei has taught and been in Oxford before as well. We use it with students and with professors all over the world.
Yeah, may I interrupt you? John Lennox is a very famous professor. He does believe in creation. Okay, creation. He's a creationist. And actually, whenever he teaches mathematics, he's a specialist in mathematics. When he teaches, he's always bringing or raising 3 important questions. First question is, where do you come from? Right? Not that I'm from the United States, but what is the origin of humans? And then the second question is, what am I here for? The third question is, what is the purpose of your life? Those are 3 important questions you have to always think during the college. Okay? That's what Professor Lennox always asking students. Okay? He's a graduate of Cambridge and then got his doctorate maybe in Oxford. So, yeah. That's a very famous book.
Yeah. And those 3 questions are part of your worldview. Where do you come? Where did I come from? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? Those things help. And actually, you could add, where am I going? What happens at the end? You know, humans are the only creation that thinks about life after death. How many of you have a cat or dog? Anyone have a cat or dog or a pet? Anyone have a pet? Do you know, have you ever, you've seen cats and dogs. And it's interesting, cats and dogs do not lay around thinking, oh no, when I die, what happens? A cat does not meow, what happens? They do not know. They do not think. But humans think, what happens if I die? Is there more to life? Because we have been created by God for that reason. And so, our worldview is very, very important to have. Those 5 areas, and I just showed that book. The last thing I want to discuss very briefly is what I believe is to be the most effective style of leadership, and that is being a servant leader. Being a servant leader. A servant leader is a person who wants to serve first and then lead second. They're a person that says, I serve first, and the reason is because of others. Instead of lead first, which is about self. A servant is thinking about other people. Yesterday on the train, I watched a young college student do something very good. An older lady got on the train, and she was sitting down on the train. And the older lady got on, and she got up, and she asked the lady, would you please sit? And I thought, yes, she is a servant. She is thinking about other people more than she's thinking about herself. And that's what a servant leader does. A servant leader thinks about others. This little diagram may help you to see this a little bit differently. That you see, instead of being a person at the top that controls, you're the person who leads from behind. Nelson Mandela, the leader in South Africa, used to say this. He says, a leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble person go ahead, whereupon others follow, not realizing that all along they have been led or they have been directed from behind. That's being a servant leader. I want to give you 4 characteristics of a servant leader, okay? These are called the 4 pillars, Weakley's 4 pillars of effective leadership or servant leadership. First of all is the pillar of conviction. Secondly, the pillar of companionship. Third, the pillar of courage. And lastly, the pillar of compassion. And let me explain each of these. First of all, convictions or commitments is what are you committed to? Every leader has to have commitments. Every leader must believe in their heart. This is what I have to do. Very, very important. Abraham Lincoln says, always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. That you have to lead that. You have to have that commitment. You have to have that resolution even in your life. Number two is companionship. It's companionship. See, a leader has to have other people that are following them. But also, remember the three relationships of a leader. A leader has others, a mentor, and themselves. Let me give you the three important kinds of relationships a leader has. After I read, King Solomon of Israel said, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls, and there's no one there to pick him up. So you need to have someone with you to pick you up, someone with you to help you, someone with you to encourage you in life. The Japanese quote says, a single arrow is easily broken, but not 10 in a bundle. Now there are 3 types of people. The first one we've already talked about. It's the resourceful person, or it's the mentor. It's someone that is older than you that helps you as your leader. The second type of person is your VIP or your friend. It is a person who will tell you the truth. It is a person who loves you and says, I am your friend no matter what. Now I want you to take 15 seconds and I want you to write down your friend's name on your piece of paper. Who is your most important friend? Who is your most important friend? Who is your friend? Write their name on your piece of paper. Some of you have a hard time doing that. You can have many acquaintances. You can have a few close friends, but really you only have 1 or 2 people who are your best friends. And hopefully you have a person who is like that, who will tell you the truth. The third type of person that you need in your life is a teachable, VTP, or a very teachable person. And that is the person that you are leading. It is the person that is following you and saying, what, and they look to you to be that leader. Now, I know you're only first-year students. And so I want to think, you can think about this, but what kind of leader do you want to be? And we're going to continue this, then I will ask you that question. It's conviction first. Second is companionship. Third is courage, the pillar of courage. Again, Nelson Mandela says, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear. Remember? It's not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not the one who does not feel afraid, but he or she is the one that conquers that fear. And that's why your leaders help you go from what? From fear to faith. And they help you go through that entire process. So you have to have courage. Christopher Columbus says, you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. You can never cross the ocean until you lose sight of the shore. Moses of Israel, who Moses was actually, I know this is the faculty of law, Moses was the man who wrote the Decalogue, or the 10 Commandments. If you've ever heard that phrase, the 10 Commandments, or the 10 laws from God, Moses was the one who wrote those things down. Moses said, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or tremble at the sight of them, for the Lord your God is with you. And if you know that God is with you, that gives you courage. That's why I can have courage, because I know God is with me. Muhammad Ali said, he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. And the last pillar is the pillar of compassion. The pillar of compassion. You must be a person that has compassion. Douglas MacArthur, the great military leader, said, a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. Again, very important. A true leader has confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. The Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. And then Saul of Tarsus said, put on a heart of compassion, of humility, of kindness, of gentleness. And then the Apostle Matthew from Israel said about Jesus, seeing the multitudes, Jesus felt compassion because they were like sheep without a shepherd, or sheep without a leader. Now I have a question for you. Think about those four things: conviction, companions, courage, and compassion. And which of the four pillars do you need the most? I want you to take 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute, and think about your own life. Which one do you need the most? Do you need compassion? Do you need courage? Do you need companions? Or do you need conviction? Which one do you need the most? Write that on your piece of paper, and then I want to ask you to tell me which one that is as you raise your hand. Which one do you need the most? Compassion, courage, companions, or conviction? Which one do you need the most? Okay. How many of you say, I need conviction the most? Ooh, I've dropped my thing. Excuse me. How many would say, I need conviction the most? Let me see your hand. Okay. How many said, I need more companions, or I need companionship the most? Let me see your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, good. How many said, I think I need more courage? That's the one you think that's the most, okay? If you said earlier you appreciate from fear to faith, that may be the one that you decide. So that was a lot. How many say compassion the most? Okay, yes. See, each of us have strengths and each of us have weaknesses. And so think about a leader leads themselves. And so if you think, I need more courage, then you have to think about how to gain more courage. And you may want to ask someone, how can I become more courageous? If you need compassion, you might think, why do I need compassion? And you can talk to your mentor or a friend and ask them about compassion. And so you can learn and grow in those areas. The last thing I want to communicate about the four pillars is this. What is the foundation for your pillar? Every person has to have a foundation for these four things. See, they don't stand by themselves. Something has to support them. For some people, their foundation is the organization or group. It's the group that they are involved in, but you also understand everybody in the group is not perfect. And if the group is the foundation, will you be able to do those four things? For some people, it's themselves. Yes, I can do this myself. I do not need anyone else. But each of us know our heart. And each of us know what we're afraid of. And each of us realize that we may not be as courageous as we would like. It may be your mentor. But even your best mentor will fail you. Even your best mentor will let you down. They will disappoint you. I would encourage you, one of the greatest people that you could talk to or think about here to being a good mentor is Shirahara, your Waseda alum. He was a man that had compassion, He cared for the Jews that were going to be, he was trying to rescue. He had conviction, and he also was a person of companionship, and he had courage. He even had courage to realize that if he disobeyed his government, he might go to prison, and he went to prison. But because of his worldview, this is one of the things that he did say in his world about his life. He said this. Someone asked him, "Why did you do what you did?" And he said, "I gave two reasons. One is that the refugees were human beings. He had a view of people, that they just weren't to be killed. And on the other, they simply needed help." Then Shigehara said, he believed in God and chose to disobey his government rather than to disobey God, because he knew that he would answer to God, or that he had a relationship with God. For some people, their foundation is their religion. And for me, it's my relationship with God. And that, because of my relationship with God, that gives me the foundation for being a servant leader. Now, I have a Christian worldview, and I believe that Jesus is the greatest leader of history. He was a person of conviction. He was a person of companionship. He was the one that had his many followers that followed him around, that he taught. He was a person of courage that was willing to go and die for our sin and our problems and our brokenness. And he was a person of compassion. It is said of him that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, that may not be your foundation. Your foundation may be your religion, Shintoism, or Islam, or Buddhism, or nothing. It may be a mentor or self or something, but you have to put something there. What are you going to put as your foundation? Think about it. Well, what I have tried to do today in these last few minutes is to review personal leadership, to help you to understand a leader has three relationships, and their leader takes them from being dead to life. L-I-F-E. They lead by example, they inspire toward a vision, they take you from fear to faith, and they encourage your heart. And then we talked about your worldview and your CQ being a global leader. And you need to have CQ drive and CQ knowledge. And we talked about the knowledge of different worldviews, and that every person's worldview involves God, reality, knowledge, morality, and life and humanity. And then we transitioned and we talked about, before then we talked about purpose and you knowing your purpose. And then we talked about what kind of leader do you want to have. You want to be a person of conviction, companion, courage, and compassion. So when you become a leader here at Waseda, or you become a lawyer in Japan, I want you to think about this lecture. And will you be a lawyer that has convictions, companions, courage, and compassion as you represent other people? And will you lead yourself well? Thank you for your time today. Obari Sensei, I will turn it over to you, and I will let you lead the rest of the time.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us a very inspiring talk. I've been very much inspired. By the way, do you have any particular questions or some comments from the floor? I'd like to open up the floor for Q&A. Any questions, comments? No comments, no questions? Hey, come on. Any question, comments?
Anything at all?
What I don't like most is the being quiet. You got to be very active. Okay. So I'm a very active learner, and also I'm a very active teacher. Okay. I don't teach a lot, but you have to be more involved in discussion, argument. But I do accept any opinions. Okay? I do respect your opinions. Somebody? No question, no comments? Okay, this is the email. Could you write it down? I think I will send this email to you. And what you're going to do now is could you write down maybe what did you take from today's lecture? Okay, you're going to just write at least 200 words or maybe 100, more than 100 words using a group line, okay, in Japanese this time. Is that okay? はい、今日の講義を聞いてね、自分が何を感じて何を学んだかってことをグループ LINE に日本語でいいですから、まず100語以上で書いてください。で、来週の課題に関してはもう1週間ちょっと大変なんだけども、これがおそらく大変な課題をこれでおしまいします。前回はね、今日の講義をノート取ったね、みんなね、そのノートを掘り起こして要約してください。やっぱり英文で300語でね、いいですか。で、それをもとにスライドを10枚英文で作ってください。で、来週ディスカッションとプレゼンテーションをやります。それからみんなの書いた今日提出したやつと今日あと300も書くね、その書いたやつを点検します。いいですか。だからそのスライドを2つだな、今日提出したやつあるね。で、これから今週作るやつね、スライドと要約ね、それに基づいて来週は授業します。いいですか。で、みんなだったらできます。他の連中はもうね、文句ばっかり言ってるんだ、こんなにできないっつって。やってみてね、不完全でもいいから、作語ね。で、グラマリーってソフトがあるから、書いたらそれを使ってください。また来週教えますけども。それからあと、パラグラフの段落のデベロップメントの仕方ね。いいですか。だから、まずとりあえずね、段落なしで書いてきてください。左に見てね。で、フォントは Times New Roman、12ポイントね。いつもこのクラスでは Times New Roman とフォントがあります。で、それで12ポイントね、それが本文書くというところね。また来週それは教えますから。はい、それじゃあコメントを書いてください。いいですか。はい、で、書いたやつは最終的にはみんなが作ったパワーポイントと、あとエッセイはね、ウィークリー先生のとこ行きますから、みんな直接送って、でいろんな質問してくださっていいですか。はい、まずは日本語で今日のグループ LINE にちょっと、何が最も印象深かったかね、ディスカッションもしたし、いいですか。はい。それからね、まずコメント書いてください。それとノートを写真撮っていいですね。まず書いた後でいいです。書いて送ったやつでいいです。で、ノート見ないでね、感じたことを書いてみな、日本語でいいですから。グループ LINE ね。はい。日本語でいいです。ノート見なくて書いてみな。自分で印象残ってるところだから、パッと見てもいいんだけど、まあ、日本語で、ね、頭の中に残ってる。Education is what remains after you have forgotten what you have learned in school. ね。学校で学んでることいろんなこと学ぶんだけど、それでもう忘れて、もう残ってるものが教育。それを覚えてる。これアインシュタインの言葉です。パソコンで書いてるんです。ノートを見ないでやっていいな、自分で感じたこと。あはと。で、ノートを見ながら、ワードで要約するときは見てもいいですけど、感じたことを今日何が一番印象に残ったかなってことをね。世界観のディスカッションして、このこと考えることなかったもなんでもいいよね。みんなは進化のしか教わってこないんだけど、高校までね。それはしかないよね。 グループ LINE に今日は送ってくださいね。今ね、書いたコメントは日本語でいいですから。で、来週までの課題が今 LINE のところ載っけておきましたから、いいですか。フィードバック送ってないのはなんかのみんなまだ来ない。で、コメント書いた人は写真を撮ってください。今日の講義のことに、そしてそれをここ送っておいてください。ですが、どのぐらい撮れてるかちょっと点検したりとか。全部撮ったノート全部撮りましょう。